And now, as I just mentioned to her husband, William, she's from Alabama. And she couldn't leave Alabama behind her. Right now, we're about to bring before you my boss and the commissioner of the Super 7th District, Commissioner Lorraine Cochran Johnson.
Good morning. I laugh because not everyone is blessed enough to have their own personal cheerleader. And not only is JP my neighbor, he's my friend. He started this journey with me. And today, I don't think there could have been a more befitting time than to make the announcement of the E.M.B.A.R.C Community Youth Farm than today. As we enter at this point, a time and a period where there's such a need in our community. You know, Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." As your Super District 7 Commissioner, I came into office with the intent of embracing my community, but not only embracing it, but to make it better. So today it's with great pride and in celebration of Earth Day that after a year of planning, we gather today to break ground on what will be transformative projects, the E.M.B.A.R.C Community Youth Farm. At E.M.B.A.R.C, it will focus on not only the environment, our market, botanicals, agriculture, as well as a recreational center, but this project will become a model. This morning as I stood and I spoke with CEO, I have been overwhelmed since we announced the development of this youth farm by the calls that I've received and the outpouring from the community. There has been such a need for us to focus on our youth, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. But before we discuss the components of the groundbreaking project, I must first acknowledge those who made this day possible. I'd like to acknowledge our CEO, Michael Thurman. CEO Thurman is a transformative leader. I say with great pride that he has brought dignity and respect and solid leadership to DeKalb County. So it's an honor and a pleasure to serve as a commissioner under his leadership. To my fellow commissioner, Marita Davis Johnson, who serves proudly as the commissioner of the 5th District. I say thank you for your support on this project. To my fellow commissioners who aren't here today, Commissioner Robert Patrick, Commissioner Jeff Rader, Commissioner Larry Johnson, Commissioner Steve Bradshaw, and Commissioner Ted Terry, I say thank you. And I'd also like to acknowledge 2 of our former commissioners who are not present, Commissioner Nancy Jester, as well as Commissioner Kathy Gannon, who took a vote. I can tell you as an elected official, nothing happens without 4 votes. So independent of their presence during that time and their support of this project, it would not be possible. When you embark upon a journey of this magnitude, here at E.M.B.A.R.C, we have 58 acres. It truly takes a village. So today I must also acknowledge my support team who made the vision a reality. As we've worked together, it became far more than I ever expected, especially with the budget that I worked with. But I'd like to begin by acknowledging Professor Herman Howard, an architect and a friend from Georgia Tech. Absolutely. When I reached out to him, because of course I am a graduate of Auburn University, and as JP said, I'm from LA. I'm from Lower Alabama. So I was aware of the transformative projects that they were developing, and I said, we can find someone local. And in true form, we did some research, and Mr. Howard has answered the call. So I'd like to acknowledge the Georgia Institute of Technology Design and Research Studio graduate students who are already standing. I would have said who I would like to stand, but I'd like to call each of them by name. And if you would just walk to my right. Of course, we have Alex Watson, Ashley Baldwin, Carolyn Burgess, Dylan Bonsori, Emma Ressler, Ishwar Ramin, Jackie Restrepo, Jane Rodriguez, Chi Hao Liu, Michael Maddie, Maury Haynes, Rachel Carstens, Rayvon Whitehead, our DeKalb County resident, Rob Conklin, and Rayvon, don't be shy, come on up. Sophia Stanford, Tiffany Bouquet, and Yanwei Buck. Thank you. This group of students have done what I could never have done. And this project is so much bigger than what you see here. Eyes have not seen. What they have given to this project, the many hours that we have walked this land, we know this land. We were actually here on Friday, and I had two students that said, no, we're going to go the other way. They walked through the woods and they beat me back to my destination. Because that's just how intricately we and they have come to understand this land. So thank you all so much. And if you will, I'll allow you to return, but we will have our students speak a bit later.
Let's hear it, let's hear it.
Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge Mr. Chuck Ellis, our Director of Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Affairs, along with his team, Mr. Marvin Phillips and Ms. Paige Singer. You all have facilitated us as we've needed entry. And I'd also like to thank the YMCA. This became a very time-sensitive and serious matter because the research had been done and we were ready to break ground. And I'd like to thank them for expeditiously turning over this facility back to DeKalb County, Georgia, so that we can move forward with the business at hand. So thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. James Franklin Miller from the UGA Cooperative Extension Service. The land that you see immediately behind me will house a state-of-the-art greenhouse, hydroponic station, aquaponic station, 164 raised garden beds, as well as fields that will be tilled by our students. I'm not sure if our park naturalist is here today, but within my first year, I funded South DeKalb's first park naturalist, who will be present every day at this facility. I'd like to acknowledge him and thank him for his leadership and say that a lot of work is on its way because we have students to educate. And last but not least, to my team, to my neighbor, J.P. Phillips, who is my constituent liaison, to Miss Allison Slocum, my District 7 manager, who left Real Times Media to join me here in DeKalb County after I resigned my position on faith to devote my life to public service, for which I can truly say that I have found my call. I'd like to thank God because when He gives you a vision, He will give you the provision for which you need for its manifestation. I'd like to thank Dr. G. Leah Davis, my Chief of Staff. She is not only my college roommate as we, shall I say, integrated the M.P.A.R.C program at Auburn University. She was my roommate. And I can remember after running for office and winning the seat, I was speaking at Cox Enterprises and Leah walked in. I had not looked upon Leah for over a decade. And I said, Leah, I need your help. And I'm grateful that she believed in me enough to resign her position and serve alongside me. So, thank you. We've already talked about the many components of the DeKalb County Community Youth Farm. I'd just like to emphasize a few other things that we may not have discussed. Here on this campus, we will have DeKalb County's largest swimming pool that is wheelchair accessible. We have zip lining. We have kayaking. We will have rock climbing as well as trails. We will have and operate structured youth entrepreneurship programs, of which I will allow Mr. Damon Scott to speak about. And we will implement the junior achievement model, where the students that come here will walk away with dividends towards their education. Because it's time we give our youth something meaningful. It's time we give them resources so that we are investing in our greatest asset. So thank you for joining me, for supporting my vision. I'm proud of this project. And I'm proud to live in DeKalb County, Georgia, and be a part of what I consider, over the next 5 to 10 years, the Renaissance. May God bless each of you, and may God continue to bless this project and the vision.
Program on Friday, I was quite excited to see the fact that the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and the University of Georgia Bulldogs, they're actually working together on this particular project. So again, that was exciting. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you're here live to see the top chief executive officer in all of DeKalb County. You know his name, but I'm about to introduce him, Mr. Attorney Michael L. Thurman. Michael L. Thurman, here he is.
I feel like I'm at a boxing match. Ready to rumble. Only thing you didn't say, JP, you ready to rumble, but first, this is truly a day that the Lord has made, and let us rejoice. Let me tell you why. Commissioner Lorraine Cochran Johnson is a visionary, spirit-filled, dedicated public servant, and but for her, we would not be here today. So let's give her a standing ovation. Thank you, but for her. Commissioner, we appreciate it. This is an amazing moment. It just really is. And it's a joke that Commissioner Johnson is from L.A., Lower Alabama, and I'm from rural Clark County, Georgia, and oftentimes we try to out-country one another, in terms of stories going up, right? And she is so sophisticated and always dressed to the nines and, in some of the finest clothing you can imagine, but she looked real natural in those coveralls, don't she? Give her a hand. I mean, she just looked natural. You wearing that, sister. But and it's special that we're breaking ground today, because this is the time of year, growing up on a family farm, when you went out and broke ground. And this is such an amazing moment, having grown up on a farm where we raised cotton and corn and collard greens and tomatoes, and we sold them around the city of Athens. You all are in the midst, and we're in the midst of transforming lives. Using your hands to generate food and protein and substance is transformational in terms of how people view themselves in their lives and their community. Commissioner Cochran Johnson, what you've done, you brought something to the city that those of us who grew up in the country know all about. that through hard work, through faith, all things are possible. We're going to bring our children here and let them intermingle with nature and learn how to use hard work and faith and delayed gratification to plant the crop, Dr. Gaither, right? And that's life, isn't it? Sometimes you plant the seeds, you tend to see, but you gotta have a little faith that the rains will come. You gotta have a little faith that the seeds will turn to harvest, and harvest will turn to plenty. So that's the message we're bringing to DeKalb County. DeKalb County is rising. If we can bring the Yellow Jackets and the Bulldogs together, we can do anything. So, Commissioner Marita Davis Johnson, thank you. As Commissioner Cochran Johnson said, that you don't get anything done in the DeKalb County government unless you have consensus and working together. And we have that consensus with the commissioners, with the CEO's office. And don't let anybody tell you any different. DeKalb is rising, and our best days are yet to come.